As soon as my girlfriend went abroad on a business trip, I started breaking all the strange rules she had made, one by one. She forbade me from staying out overnight, but I decided to stay out anyway. The very next moment, a drunk woman supported me and took me inside a hotel. When I woke up the next morning, I was completely exhausted and surprised to see the woman sleeping peacefully on the bed next to me. I was just about to reach out and turn on the light to see what she looked like when I heard the voices of some people outside the door. One said, "Young master, I am scared just thinking about how angry the elder madam will be. I heard she is even trying to find out the identity of that woman." The other one said, "Sigh, this time, young master is in trouble." The sound of their footsteps gradually faded away, and then I could only hear their conversation intermittently. I inadvertently looked at the woman sleeping next to me. She was trying to find out everything about this strange woman. If this gets revealed to Huo Qingyan, will I even live to see tomorrow's sun? Just thinking about it sent shivers through my entire body. There were people standing outside, so I didn't even dare to switch on the light. I just hoped they wouldn't find out about me, so I quickly packed my things and made a plan to escape through the window. It's a good thing I had my phone with me yesterday. However, I didn't know whether it would turn on now or not. After all, it had been lying in a glass full of alcohol for so long. I breathed a sigh of relief in my heart. It was a good thing we were only on the second floor of the clubhouse. It wasn't that high up. If it had been a floor higher, I wouldn't have had the courage to take the risk of escaping through the window. Then, a message popped up on my phone. Butler Joe wrote, "Young Master Bai Chen has been bad. The elder madam returned to the country last night. Come home quickly." It was clear how nervous he was because he had sent the same message multiple times. I froze as soon as I saw the message. She returned to the country? With trembling hands, I checked my missed calls. Huo Qingyan, whom I considered a major threat, had a total of 17 missed calls. I had actually missed 17 of her calls. It was like plucking 17 hairs straight from a tiger's head. Now, on top of that, I could also be caught in the same bed with another woman. It was my mistake. So why don't I just break up with her? But I knew her passion for me was so strong that she would never agree to it. Anyway, whatever. Huo Qingyan just returned last night. She has so many social commitments and is so busy that she might not have even reached home yet. I'll rush back and pretend like I haven't moved from my bed since last night. God help me. Just don't let me get caught. I told the driver to go to Lantian Manor. I will pay double the fare. Just drive fast. As soon as I got out of the cab, I didn't even wait for my change and started running straight inside. I prayed to myself, "God, please listen to me. She definitely hasn't come home yet." But it seemed God had explicitly refused to listen to my prayers. I adjusted my clothes and slowly entered the residential area, acting as if I had been home all night. Just woke up and went out for a stroll morning. Then, my eyes fell on the open door of the villa. All the servants and gardeners were standing in a line with their heads bowed, trembling with fear. This situation had only one meaning. Huo Qingyan had returned. My heart started pounding and I wanted to turn around and run. But a familiar crying sound coming from the living room stopped me in my tracks. Someone cried, "I won't do that again." I gathered my courage and went inside the villa. To be honest, I am very handsome, but at that moment, I couldn't think of anything else except bracing myself. As I reached the living room, the pressure in the air was so intense that even my breathing became heavy. Then, a cold female voice echoed out. She said, "So, you finally remembered to come back home." I said nothing, looking away. I just tried to catch a glimpse of her face from the corner of my eye and slowly walked over to stand near Huo Qingyan. I breathed a small sigh of relief as I reached her side. Seeing me standing beside her, the corners of Huo Qingyan's lips slightly raised, but the very next moment, her face became completely expressionless again. The maid, Xiao He, was kneeling at her feet, crying. She sobbed, "Madam, please don't fire me. I really need this job. My sister is in the hospital right now and is about to undergo surgery." Xiao He grabbed the hem of Huo Qingyan's skirt, perhaps hoping it would melt her heart. Hearing her cry, I felt bad too. At that moment, I didn't care about anything else and quickly helped Xiao He up. Then, looking at Huo Qingyan, I asked, "What are you doing? Why do you want to fire her?" Huo Qingyan didn't say anything, but a slight glint of anger flashed in her eyes, and her cold gaze fixed directly on my face. She said, "Bai Chen, who gave you permission to speak to me in that tone?" My heart tightened at her words. My hands automatically clenched into fists under the pressure. Then she commanded, "Get this woman out of my house." 2 bodyguards immediately stepped forward. I immediately stood in front of Xiao He. I said, "Qingyan, why are you doing this? What harm has Xiao He done to you? If you want to fire her so brutally, there must be a reason, right? Huo Qingyan said coldly. It's 7:35 in the morning, and you just walked in the door 5 minutes ago. You reek of alcohol, and you've been out all night. Then she said to me, Chen, tell me why I want to deal with Xiaohe. She continued in a slightly complaining tone. Since I got back, your entire focus has been on Xiaohe. Have you even looked at me once? I just got off the plane. Shouldn't I feel bad too? Seeing Huo Qingyan talking to me in such a complaining tone for the first time, I froze for a moment. I felt a little guilty, but the very next moment, I raised my voice. Yes, I did not come home last night. It is my fault for not following the rules but this has nothing to do with Xiaohe. Why are you dragging her into our conversation? Huo Qingyan replied, it is her responsibility to take care of you. If she can't take care of you properly, she deserves to be punished. Saying this, she slightly wrinkled her nose and pointed outside. The bodyguards understood immediately. They grabbed both of the maid's hands, pulled me aside, and started dragging her out. Seeing this, I immediately yelled, wait, let her go. I pulled Xiaohe toward me and shouted at Huo Qingyan, give me whatever punishment you want, but don't fire her from her job. I told you it's not her fault. I snuck out and lied to her myself. If you want to punish someone, punish me. After hearing me, the bodyguards didn't dare to make another move. They were forced to look at Huo Qingyan for direction. I was continuously staring at her, and for some reason, my heart was also feeling a little nervous. She remained completely calm even after listening to me. There was just a slight hint of hurt in her eyes. Then, it was as if she was agreeing with me. She said, Chen, I am giving you one last chance. If you take her side again, I won't just fire her. We will handle this my way and see what happens. I was just about to argue with her, but then I remembered that this was Huo Qingyan, the very same Huo Qingyan whose name makes the entire imperial capital tremble. The head of the Huo Financial Consortium. Whatever she says goes, and no one ever had the courage to cross her. In the end, there was nothing I could do. I just watched helplessly as Xiaohe was dragged away from me and thrown out of the house. I kept looking in the direction where Xiaohe was taken. Seeing this, Huo Qingyan became even angrier inside. Then she went over to the sofa, sat down and said, what did you do last night, and where did you go? Chen, I advise you to tell me everything truthfully today. Otherwise, if I find out myself, what will happen next? You know this very well. I thought, I am dead? I am so dead. What should I do now? She looks furious. I just showed a little favoritism to Xiaohe, and now I'm becoming a thorn in her side. If I tell the truth, will I even live to see tomorrow's sun? I said, I didn't do anything. I was just sitting around playing board games with some friends last night. When it got late, I didn't come back and just slept at the hotel with my good friends. She asked, where did you play these games? With which friends? It was clear she wanted me to confess every single detail. I took a few deep breaths in a row and then said calmly, Qingyan, you're doing too much. Making friends is my personal business. I don't need to tell you everything. Huo Qingyan said coldly, I will decide whether it is needed or not. I am the one who makes the decision. Because you live in my house, I should have control over everything in your life. Bai Chen, if you don't want to tell me, then don't. Then she added, but I have no problem finding out everything one by one myself. I immediately retorted, don't you dare touch them. Qingyan, you can't interfere with my friendship. I am not a child. I am a grown adult, and I have complete freedom to make friends of my choice. Huo Qingyan did not respond to my words. Instead, she commanded, go and clean yourself up properly first. Write a clear self-reflection letter about staying out all night and getting drunk. Then come to me with that self-reflection and apologize properly. Huo Qingyan thought to herself, Maya Chen still hasn't understood me well. How could my anger be solely due to him staying out all night? Yes, I'm angry about that, but what angers me more is how he could be so careless and fall into someone's trap so easily. If I hadn't stopped it in time, something very bad would have happened to him by now, but let it be. Let him write his self-reflection. It will at least calm his mind a little. Just then, the butler reassured me, saying, young master, don't be angry either. At the very least, I'll help you write your self-reflection. Then he added, the elder madam may appear tough on the outside, but she has a very soft heart on the inside. She's just a little worried because of her anger. I calmed down a bit after listening to him. I was about to say something when my eyes fell on a servant coming down the stairs carrying a cardboard box. The box was filled with my gaming consoles. I froze in my tracks, immediately went up to him and asked, wait, where are you taking all this? The servant replied, young master, the elder madam has ordered all the gaming consoles in your room to be thrown away. I said to myself, They may look old and broken, but these gaming consoles hold very special memories for me. How can they be thrown away so easily? I immediately looked up to where Huo Qingyan had gone and finally couldn't hold myself back. I shouted, "Huo Qingyan, who gave you the right to throw things out of my room without my permission?" I stepped forward and grabbed her collar. Then, I noticed some marks on her collarbone. I said, "You say I don't behave properly, but last night you went out and had fun too. Now I feel like you're not that different from me." In my mind, I thought, "Huo Qingyan, I've finally found something to use against you." I said, "You just keep lecturing me about going out and having fun, but you went out last night yourself. Don't think I'm stupid. Didn't you also go out and play around last night?" It seems he still doesn't know that the woman who was with him that night was me, but I don't even want to tell him. It's quite fun to let him remain completely oblivious like this. Thinking this, she slowly moved toward me, and I froze there for a moment. I forgot what I was supposed to say to her. She said, "Ah Chen, the day you have the strength to make me bow before you is the day you control me too. But right now, you don't have that strength." Then she added, "So right now, you only have one option. Listen to me quietly." We both went to the study, but she didn't say anything else to me. I was feeling incredibly bored. I finally sat down to write my self-reflection, and she sat next to me, looking through her document. My mind was completely blank. I couldn't figure out where to start writing. I scratched my head in frustration and took a deep breath. Seeing my struggle, Qingyan, who was sitting next to me, laughed slightly. She said, "What's wrong? You can't write it? If you want, I can help you remember." I did not respond. Her eyes fell on me, and seeing my sloppy posture, her beautiful eyebrows furrowed slightly, she asked, "What kind of posture is this? Straighten your back. Don't cross your legs." My body jolted a little, and I lost my balance. I was about to fall straight down when Huo Qingyan instinctively reached out and tried to support me, but she ended up being pulled down by me. As soon as I caught Huo Qingyan's distinctive scent, I suddenly froze. I kept feeling over and over that I had smelled this fragrance somewhere before. Vague memories started flashing in my mind. In the dim light, a sweet voice near my ear had been seducing me. The voice had said, "Drink this. Everything will be fine once you drink this." After that, all I heard was a very soft sigh. Then, someone's warm hands had gently held me, and the next day, I opened my eyes in the hotel. Could it be that the strange woman in the hotel was actually Qingyan? I asked in surprise. Someone played a trick on me that night, didn't they? That's why I wasn't fully conscious. Huo Qingyan replied, "Yes, something was slipped into your glass of wine, and it was Xiao He who gave it to you." She continued, "She was hovering around you the whole time that day. She was just waiting for you to drink it. I saw what she was trying to do before she could go through with it." I immediately asked, "So that means you already knew Xiao, his intentions were bad, and that's why you fired her?" Huo Qingyan said expressionlessly, "Did you think I was so bored that I would specifically target a maid for no reason?" Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and the voice of Special Assistant Ye Mian Miao came through. She said, "Elder Madam, Li Yanzhu has arrived." Huo Qingyan looked at me and said, "I have some work to do today. You should sit in your study and finish your self-reflection. Don't try any tricks. I will come back and check it myself." With that, Huo Qingyan turned and walked out. I just stared at her back. There was a strange confusion settling in my heart. Downstairs, Li Yanzhu asked, "Yanyan, did you find the man from last night?" Huo Qingyan sat comfortably on the sofa and said nothing. She just started playing with the ring on her finger. Mian Miao, standing beside her, answered on her behalf. She said, "Mr. Li, the man from last night hasn't been found yet. You were also in the same private room last night. Do you know who spiked the drinks?" Li Yanzhou's eyes darted around, trying to evade the situation. "I don't know either," he said. I was looking for Yanyan at the time too, but she disappeared after going to the restroom. I was very worried. I had no idea something like this would happen. Li Yanzhu thought to himself, "Damn it. I made all the preparations last night to avoid any mistakes, but I had no idea Huo Qingyan would be so cautious." He continued thinking, "I searched almost every VIP room in the Dynasty Clubhouse last night, but she was nowhere to be found. Who snatched her away from me? I'm furious." Huo Qingyan said coldly, "This is my personal matter. There's no need to share this information. If you have nothing else to say, you can leave now." Li Yanzhou protested. "Who else in our circle could you tell this to? I consider myself Yanyan's fiancé. Our elders have tried to arrange our marriage so many times. I always thought you had accepted me as your fiancé too." Thinking about this, he forced a faint smile onto his face. He said, Yanyan, I won't tell Grandpa anything about what happened last night. Don't worry. As soon as we find that man, we'll deal with him. Just then, Mian Miao's phone rang. She was about to open the door to answer the call when she saw me. I was lying on the floor, my face twisted in pain. I said awkwardly, hi guys. Actually, I had been sitting in the study writing my self-reflection, but the boredom got so intense that I sneaked downstairs. I heard some noises from the third floor and thought, why not listen in on some of Qingyan's secrets and use them against her later if needed? But before I could eavesdrop, I tripped and fell. Seeing me, Li Yanzhou thought in surprise, maybe the rumors about Qingyan are true. How can there be a man in her house? She doesn't even allow men near her, Huo Qingyan said angrily. I told you to sit in the study and write your self-reflection. Who gave you permission to come out here? She pulled me up and made me sit on the sofa. I was about to argue with her when I felt a sharp pain in my knee. Huo Qingyan asked, did you hurt yourself badly from the fall? Mian Miao immediately brought over the medical kit, but instead of letting the assistant do it, Huo Qingyan sat halfway in front of me and started applying medicine to my knee herself. I was shocked. Huo Qingyan is such a powerful and special person. Even when she gets hurt, a doctor comes to bandage her, yet today she is applying medicine to a man's knee. This was too much. Meanwhile, Li Yanzhou glared at me and thought to himself, this guy looks so annoying. I don't know if he's deliberately trying to trap Yanyan. I grew up facing poverty and indifference, which is why I don't tolerate anyone showing hostility in front of me. I could immediately sense that this man harbored a deep animosity toward me. I wondered if she had ruined their meeting. Huo Qingyan lectures me so much about my friends, yet she brings a man home. Finally, Li Yanzhou couldn't help but ask, Yanyan, may I know who he is? I stepped forward and said, my name is Bai Chen. I don't know what to call you. Li Yanzhou immediately snapped, hey, I'm talking to Yanyan. Why are you interrupting? Don't you have any manners? Huo Qingyan looked at me and thought to herself, Chen actually greeted someone politely face to face. It seems writing a self-reflection has done some good. I thought to myself, damn it, how would I even dare to speak up? If she finds out I only wrote 10 words in my self-reflection, I'm terrified to think what she would do to me. Huo Qingyan explained, this is my younger brother. He's staying at my house for a while. He's a bit noisy, but he doesn't have any bad intention. I thought to myself, does she think I'm stupid, like a 3-year-old? I can't believe Huo Qingyan could act so close to a normal younger brother. Li Yanzhou thought to himself, it's been 10 years. I thought I'd finally be able to live with Yanyan. But suddenly, out of nowhere, this guy appears. And on top of that, he's claiming to be her younger brother. Damn it, it makes my blood boil. Thinking this, he glared at me, gritting his teeth. He turned to Huo Qingyan. Qingyan, I want to talk to you a bit more in private right now. We haven't seen each other in a while. Seeing the hostility in his eyes, I laughed quietly to myself. Suddenly, I felt a strong urge to play a prank. I said, dear sister Yanyan, you talk to him first. I'll wait for you in the bedroom. Just as I planned. Doing this made Li Yanzhou's face go completely stiff. I stood up, supporting myself, and was about to leave when my leg twisted. Just then, 2 hands caught me from behind. Before I knew it, Huo Qingyan had taken my hand and was leading me out. Special assistant, she instructed. Show our guest out. I stared at Huo Qingyan's delicate side profile. I couldn't quite understand what was going through her mind. In the blink of an eye, I was back in the room. She had let go of my hand, but my gaze still involuntarily lingered on her. Huo Qingyan asked, what happened today? You don't like me leaving you? Then she asked, and what did you call me just now? I said, darling. She smiled and said, you had no problem calling me dear earlier. She stepped closer to me and whispered, why aren't you calling me your dear sister Yanyan now? She took another step toward me. I panicked and immediately pulled her close with both hands to stop her from moving forward. I felt my ears turning red. For the first time, Qingyan thought to herself, my Chen is really so cute. It's fun to tease him a little in my free time. Then her gaze fell on my bruised knee. A flash of worry and pain crossed her eyes for a moment. She calmly said, Chen, you're hurt, so I can pause your previous self-reflection for now. I immediately asked, really? She replied, but Chen, you didn't listen to me. And because of your carelessness, you hurt your knee, she continued. So, add 1,000 more words to your self-reflection and give it to me tomorrow. I screamed in my heart. Damn it. I knew there couldn't be anything good behind this. Why is my life so miserable? I haven't even finished the previous self-reflection yet, and now I have another one. Oh God, someone please save me. Huo Qingyan looked at me. A faint smile appeared on her lips, and then walked out of the room. Only after she had gone far away did I pull out my laptop and get to work on finishing my last self-reflection. Although I now knew that the woman with me that night was Qingyan, and that nothing wrong had actually happened to me, I still wanted to understand the entire incident and find out who had tried to harm me. I did some hacking, and the clubhouse's security footage appeared on my screen. I carefully watched it from start to finish and noticed that some parts of last night's recording were missing. Then, I used a different method and hacked into the clubhouse's security system again. As soon as I got inside, I realized someone else was watching me. I laughed to myself and said, "Oh, this is interesting. There's someone else inside the security system already. I hope you guys aren't too weak." Meanwhile, Huo Qingyan was in a room upstairs. As soon as she entered, her subordinate handling the computer immediately reported. He said, "Madam, someone has hacked our security system." Huo Qingyan gave the order, "Track them and find their exact location." Everyone immediately began working. For several rounds, the two systems competed, but gradually, her team began to retreat. When they realized their computer was about to be completely taken over by me, they made a quick decision and disconnected the wireless connection. Downstairs in my room, I said to myself, "Damn, you're so lucky. If the network hadn't suddenly gone down, I would have seen your computer's wallpaper by now." Just then, I heard some movement outside my door. I immediately lay down, closed my eyes, and pretended to be asleep. A moment later, the door to the room opened very slowly. A few seconds passed and it closed again. I lay quietly until I heard the sound of a car starting outside. As the car pulled away, I opened my eyes and breathed a sigh of relief. I quickly made up an excuse to the staff saying, Uncle Joe, I have a class at Ju University. I'm leaving first." After that, I returned to the Dynasty Clubhouse to catch up with my friends. As soon as my friend saw me, he asked, "Ah, Chen, are you okay today? You just told us that the owner of the house you live in has returned," he continued. "And after that, you didn't even reply to our messages for a long time. We thought something had happened to you." I immediately said, "Hey, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine." How could I explain that Huo Qingyan had completely taken control of me and crushed all my arrogance? If I told them that, would I even have any respect left as their elder brother? My friend asked, "Then why didn't you pick up the phone? And why didn't you reply to our messages?" Then he asked suspiciously, "Did the lady of the house you're staying at mistreat you because of your drinking?" I thought to myself, damn it, how is your intuition so sharp? Shenli and Lu Xiu had grown up together with me in the orphanage, playing together since childhood. Actually, it wasn't just the three of us. We also had Gu Yanzhou with us, but Gu Yanzhou had left me behind. He was adopted by the Sigh family, and after that, he seemed to completely change. Later, I was also taken in by the Huo family, and I felt that perhaps the good days of my life were finally about to begin. But the result was that I was forced into a marriage agreement with Huo Qingyan. That's why I was currently staying at her house. That's when I asked, "Are you guys absolutely sure you saw Gu Yanzhou at Dynasty that night?" My friend said, "Yes, absolutely sure. Gu Yanzhou came with his friends." He elaborated, "While we were playing there, he looked over at us multiple times. I was afraid seeing him would spoil your mood, so I didn't say anything." Then he asked me, "Ah Chen, do you suspect that Gu Yanzhou had a hand in what happened that night, and that he hired someone to do this to you?" I thought to myself, how could such a big coincidence happen? The moment I was tricked, the security footage was also damaged, and no evidence was found. Moreover, Gu Yanzhou and Xiao He were both present there at that time. I didn't want the others to be unnecessarily involved, so I didn't mention my suspicions. I just said, "Let's drop this topic. There is some money on this card. First, you guys use this to get those 2 sick kids from the orphanage treated." I added, "I'll make arrangements for whatever extra money is needed." My friend tried to decline, but I stopped him and said, "Don't refuse it. Actually, my side business has been doing well lately, and I've saved up a little cash. That's why I'm giving this to you." Over the years, the 3 of us had never stopped helping the other kids at the orphanage, and I knew that their financial situation wasn't very good right now. On top of that, they had to pay rent and other living expenses. If the kids' medical bills were put on them too, they would have nothing left for themselves. Since I had some savings at the moment, it was better that I give them the money directly. I reassured them, "Hey, don't worry about me. The family I'm staying with treats me very well and even gives me pocket money every month. You guys just stay out of trouble." After saying goodbye to my friends, I didn't head home. Instead, I turned around and went right back inside the Dynasty Clubhouse. This time, I easily dodged the waiters. I wandered up to the second floor and reached the suite where I had stayed the night before. A cleaner was already inside, tidying up. It was clear that all the evidence had already been wiped clean. I wondered to myself whether it was only Xiao He who was scheming around me that night, or if there was someone else behind her pulling the strings. Then I remembered Shen Li and the others telling me that Gu Yanzhou had also been at the clubhouse. Could this really be his doing? I was walking forward when I accidentally bumped into someone. I said, "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention." The man in front of me looked down at his clothes and scoffed. "Because you bumped into me, I think I'll have to throw away this high-fashion outfit." I looked up and saw Gu Yanzhou standing right in front of me. 2 bodyguards were standing behind him. His overall demeanor was that of a proud, wealthy young master, making me look quite ordinary in comparison. To be honest, it felt like a world of difference between us. But even then, Gu Yanzhou couldn't help but be surprised by my appearance. He thought to himself, "Damn it, how did he get so much more handsome than before?" Even back then, whenever he walked into a room, everyone's attention was automatically drawn to him. This annoys me so much. Just then, the bodyguard standing next to him sensed his change in mood and immediately asked, "Young master, do you need us to do something?" Gu Yanzhou thought to himself, "No, I don't need to be jealous of him anymore. So what if he's handsome? Now he's just an orphan who doesn't even have a home of his own. Meanwhile, I belong to the Sigh family of the imperial capital. I am their only young master. My status is like heaven compared to his dirt." He looked at me and sneered. "Bai Chen, looking at you like this, it seems you're no longer fit to even be used as bait for me." He asked, "What are you doing at Dynasty? Did you come to woo some rich girl?" He mocked, "Well, there's certainly no shortage of rich people here. Looking at you, it seems you could probably make some decent money doing that." Then he added, "If you want, I can introduce you to someone." I looked right back at him and said, "You seem to know a lot about this place. Did you go around asking people for prices yourself?" He immediately got angry and snapped, "What kind of cheap joke are you making? I'm the young master of the Sigh family. My monthly pocket money from home is enough to buy a luxury car. Do you think I crave money like you do?" I said in a calm voice. "Yes, you're the highly respected young master of the Sigh family. But if the news gets out that young Master Sigh plotted to drug his own former classmate, imagine the uproar that would ensue." Gu Yanzhou immediately said, "Bai Chen, what are you trying to say? I don't understand a word." However, he thought to himself in panic, "It's impossible. He can't be that capable. I never did anything personally. I entrusted the entire task to Xiao He. Moreover, I even had the security footage wiped beforehand. He can't possibly suspect me." I said with a slight laugh, "Oh, so you really don't know anything?" He immediately replied, "I don't know at all." Then, he threatened, "If you don't stop slandering me, I'll have the Sigh family's lawyers file a lawsuit against you." He yelled at his bodyguards, "What am I paying you angry guys for? Catch him." The next moment, the atmosphere grew tense, as if dark clouds had suddenly covered the entire sky. I glared at him, and he asked nervously, "Bai Chen, what are you going to do? Are you really going to kill me?" I looked at him and demanded, "Was it you or not?" I added, "You know the truth best in your own heart. Just pray I never find solid proof that you were involved in this whole thing." Then I warned, "Or else I'll destroy all your precious honor and status." Although I knew that given Gu Yanzhou's nature, he would never admit it, his anxious, shifty eyes clearly told me he was definitely part of the plot against me. I grabbed Gu Yanzhou's collar so tightly that he became extremely uncomfortable. The anger on his face was evident, and he tried to push me away with all his might, but he couldn't even budge me. I just applied a little more force with my hand, and he immediately started having trouble breathing. Gu Yanzhou thought angrily to himself, "Damn Bai Chen! When did he learn such good martial arts? No wonder he escaped that night." Just then, out of the corner of his eye, he looked up. Around the corner, a beautiful woman appeared, walking toward us from the right. A plan immediately formed in his mind. Gu Yanzhou suddenly cried out, "Ah Chen, it's my fault. Please don't tell Mom anything." He pleaded pitifully, "If you want to blame someone, blame me, I beg you." Just then, a familiar voice echoed down the hall. My body stiffened slightly at the sound of that voice. I turned around and saw Madame Sigh hurrying toward us. The noble woman's face was still as youthful and beautiful as ever. She hadn't changed much since she acted as my mother 6 years ago. I let go of his collar. Gu Yanzhou immediately stumbled back and deliberately fell hard to the ground. Then, feigning intense pain, he began coughing violently. Madame Sigh frantically helped him up and asked, "Yanzhou, are you all right?" Then, glaring at me angrily, she yelled, "How dare you raise your hand against Yanzhou in front of everyone? Do you have any respect left for our family?" I no longer cared. I thought to myself, caring is such a funny thing. I once cared so much for this family that I almost fainted while walking down the street in the freezing rain. I said to Madame Sigh, "Madame Sigh, why don't you ask your sweet son what he did?" Before I could say anything else, Gu Yanzhu immediately interrupted. "Mom," he whimpered, "someone bothered Ah Chen here last night. When he saw me here today, he assumed I was the one who hurt him." He pretended to be entirely innocent and added, "Please don't blame Ah Chen. He probably just lost his temper out of anger." I thought to myself, wow, what a brilliant move. In just a few words, he's turned the whole situation completely upside down. He's truly the one who learned how to survive best at the orphanage. Madame C glared at me and sneered, "You were out getting harassed by someone outside? And on top of that, you're blaming Yanzhu?" Then she said furiously, "If I had known you'd stoop so low, I would have corrected your behavior back then. You should have been sent back to the orphanage immediately. At least you wouldn't be in this pathetic condition." I looked right back at her and smiled slightly. "So should I thank Madame C for leaving me out on the street to freeze that night? Unfortunately for you, my will to live was too strong," I added. "Otherwise, my ghost would have definitely come back at midnight to have a heart-to-heart talk with you." Madame C's face changed drastically after hearing me. She yelled, "What kind of nonsense are you talking about? You are so ungrateful." Gu Yanzhou immediately chimed in, "Ah Chen, it's not right to talk to mother like that. You're going too far. Don't you know that mother has high blood pressure? Yet you're deliberately provoking her like this." I looked at him and retorted, "If you know her blood pressure is high, then why are you standing there provoking her with lies?" Gu Yanzhou turned to Madame C. "Mother, we shouldn't allow Ah Chen to act so arbitrarily," he immediately suggested. "I think we should call the police." I froze there for a moment. To be honest, I had no objection to calling the police, but then I realized that if Huo Qingyan found out about this, my situation would become even worse. Seeing my face suddenly turn pale, Gu Yanzhou assumed I was scared. This immediately brought immense relief to his mind. He commanded a guard, "Go quickly and call the manager." Meanwhile, in the corridor on the second floor, someone stepped out of the Dynasty VIP room. Behind her was a middle-aged woman wearing a sharp suit. The woman in front suddenly stopped stirring her drink. She leaned forward slightly over the railing and looked down. A familiar face came into her sight. She heard someone yell angrily, "You're so ungrateful!" Huo Qingyan's face immediately turned sour. Oh no, Madame C and her adopted son are arguing with a handsome young man. The female manager accompanying her wondered, when did the elder madam start caring so much about Madame Sigh? Is the elder madam interested in the Sigh family's adopted son? The manager immediately offered, "Elder madam, I didn't even know Madame C was here. I'll send someone over to handle it." Huo Qingyan looked down and interrupted her. "The one who is the most handsome down there. That's my young master. His name is Bai Chen. He's a bit mischievous. Please go down and take care of him." The manager realized that the elder madam wasn't actually looking at Madame C or her adopted son, but at the incredibly handsome young man standing opposite them. And the most surprising thing was that she referred to him as "my young master." After all, who could be so special that the most powerful figure of the Huo family was personally claiming him? The manager immediately bowed. "Madam, please don't worry. From now on, everything related to Mr. Bai is my, Zhang Wan's personal responsibility. I will not let him suffer even the slightest grievance." Then she added, "I'll go down and invite Mr. Bai upstairs right now." Down below, I was terrified that this matter might escalate and reach Qingyan's ears. Moreover, I had absolutely zero desire to get entangled in this twisted mother-son drama. I stepped forward to leave, but how was Gu Yanzhou going to let me go so easily? He immediately blocked me and said, "Bai Chen, wait, you've made mother so angry. How can you just leave now?" He called out, "Mother," repeatedly acting as if he were the most obedient, perfect son in the world. This eased Madame C's anger a little. Then, looking down her nose at me, she said in a cold voice, "The Dynasty manager will be arriving soon. You've caused such a ruckus today that even an SVIP member like me is upset. Do you think you'll be allowed to just walk away?" She added, "It's not just me. The Dynasty manager won't let you off so easily." The disgust and disappointment in her gaze were glaringly evident. But over the years, I had grown completely accustomed to such looks, so I ignored them and continued walking away. I had barely taken a few steps when 6 or 7 burly security guards appeared in front of me and immediately surrounded me. I thought to myself, will this ever end? I just want to get out of here. I wondered, do they actually think these rent-a-cops can stop me? Fine. If we have to fight, let's get it over with. I'd much rather write another self-reflection letter later than get beaten up by these guys. Just then, Zhangwan's voice came from behind. She asked sharply, "Who is Mr. Bai?" Gu Yanzhou immediately lit up and replied, "Sister Wan, why did you bother to come down yourself? I just had a minor disagreement with someone." I thought to myself, who is Zhang Wan? She's the real boss of the Dynasty Clubhouse. Even the bigwigs in the corporate world respect her and call her Sister Wan. Normally, it's almost impossible for me to even catch a glimpse of someone like her. But today, I hit the jackpot. I simply asked for the manager, and Zhang Wan herself came down to handle the matter for me. I thought, I'll definitely have to brag about this to my girlfriend once I get home. Gu Yanzhou said to his mother, "Mom, last time I had a drink with Jiang Wan, and she actually still remembers my face." He arrogantly thought to himself, now that she's here, she must have come to please me. He mused further, well, Zhang Wan is married, but she's quite attractive. It wouldn't be a big deal to accept her favor. I rolled my eyes and thought, Gu Yanzhou, why are you celebrating so early? She barely knows you, and you're rejoicing as if you've won the biggest lottery of your life. Anyone who sees you will think she's your mother. Gu Yanzhou glared at me and sneered. What nonsense are you whispering? Don't you even know Sister Wan's identity? Gu Yanzhou turned to Zhang Wan. Thank you for coming down here yourself. Zhang Wan gave him an icy, blank look. Then she took a big step past him and looked at the security guards. Gu Yanzhou immediately complained, Sister Wan, this rude boy is openly talking nonsense about you. Don't get. I'll teach him a lesson myself. Zhang Wan completely ignored him, looked directly at me, and asked respectfully, Are you Mr. Bai Chen? I said, yes. Then I asked, what do you want from me? And why are you angry bringing so many people? Do you intend to fight me? Jiang Wan immediately bowed her head. No, I wouldn't dare. Mr. Bai, you're such a joker. How could I ever raise a hand against you? I thought to myself, damn it. How could this guy even make a joke out of this? What a fool I must be to fight someone protected by the Huo family. Wait, I didn't even know why she knew me or was speaking to me with such deep respect. Wait a minute, could it be because of her? Just thinking about that possibility made my forehead sweat. Meanwhile, Gu Yanzhou, watching all this unfold, couldn't believe his eyes. He rushed forward anxiously and asked, Brother Chen, how do you know Zhang Wan? Zhang Wan looked at Gu Yanzhou coldly and snapped, What a racket you're making. Then she scolded him. Do you even think you're worthy of speaking Mr. Bai's name directly? She ordered the security guards, take them both out and permanently put them on the dynasty's blacklist. They are barred from coming here for the rest of their lives. Gu Yanzhou panicked. Sister Wan, this is Madame Sigh. Are you shocked? Gu Yanzhou stammered in disbelief. Why is she helping Bai Chen? This is too much. How can you throw us out like this? Then he whispered venomously to his mother. Mom, don't you think there's some kind of dirty relationship between Bai Chen and Sister Wan? That's why she's taking his side so strongly. He convinced himself, yes, that must be it. Bai Chen must have sold himself to Zhang Wan for money. After all, Zhang Wan is almost 40 years old. A toy boy like Bai Chen deserves to be played by rich, older women, Madame Sigh said furiously. Whatever this ungrateful boy does is disgusting. At one point, I actually adopted him. If he has really done such a despicable act and it comes to light later, won't it bring massive disrepute to our family? She then yelled at the manager, I am a respected lady of the Sigh family, being expelled from the dynasty, and now I'm permanently barred from coming here again? If this gets out, how will I ever show my face in public? I groaned internally, that's it. Damn it, she definitely belongs to Qingyan, and Qingyan probably knows everything that has happened down here. What should I do now? Can I just run back out and rush home? Just then, Zhang Wan looked at me and asked warmly, Mr. Bai, are you experiencing any trouble? I stammered, it's Sister Wan, isn't it? She immediately waved her hands. No, you can just call me Xiaojiang. I thought to myself, you're old enough to look like my mother's age, and you're asking me to call you Little Jiang? I'll just call her Lao Jiang. That would be much more appropriate. I immediately replied, Okay, Lao Jiang, you go ahead and do your work. I'll take my leave first. She stopped me and said, But the elder madam is waiting for you in the private room upstairs. You shouldn't leave so early. I screamed in my head, Look, my worst nightmare has come true. I'm completely doomed. Why doesn't this female demon stop following me wherever I go? The assistant standing next to Jiang Wan wondered, Has the elder madam caught up to him yet? She turned out to be quite slow. I looked at Jiang Wan and told myself, smile, just smile. What else can you do? If you smile one more time, maybe I won't have to drag you into that room and face the female demon alone. Just then, Huo Qingyan's cold voice drifted down. Are you planning to stand outside the door forever and become a door guard? I had no choice. I sighed helplessly and said, Hi, good afternoon, Sister Yanyan. What a coincidence. You're here too. I thought to myself, perhaps this is what they call the cruel twists of fate. I offered weakly. Oh, Sister Yanyan, would you like a drink of water? I'll pour some water for you. Huo Qingyan said in a calm, flat voice, Pour yourself a glass first. Then she said sarcastically, After all, it isn't easy to sneak out of the house. You must be very thirsty, right? Hearing this taunt, I felt deeply irritated inside. The situation itself wasn't very dangerous, but the insult hit straight to the heart. I swear, no one in this world knows how to deliver a taunt better than this woman. She glared at me and demanded, Are you still rolling your eyes at me? Do you want to write another self-reflection letter? I immediately shook my head. No. I quickly explained, I just went out for a walk to relax. I was also deeply reflecting on my mistakes along the way. I didn't realize I had accidentally wandered all the way to Dynasty, so I thought I'd come inside and take a look. Then, with a completely serious face, I lied. After all, we young people should keep our curiosity about the world alive. I continued chattering nonstop, looking at her with the most innocent face I could muster. Surprisingly, Huo Qingyan's anger seemed to subside after hearing my nonsense. I thought to myself, maybe Madam's anger isn't that intense today. I was just about to breathe a sigh of relief when she pulled out her phone and called the butler. Huo Qingyan asked, Butler Joe? The answer came through the speaker. Madam is asking where Mr. Bai is? Butler Joe immediately lied. Ah Chen has gone to class today. Then he confidently told assistant Ye Mian Miao, You tell Madam she doesn't have to worry anymore. I smacked my forehead internally. This is what happens when you don't coordinate. Our stories don't match. I thought, why didn't I synchronize my alibi with Butler Joe before I left? Mian Miao looked at me and exhaled coldly, practically wiping the sympathetic sweat from her brow. I figured I'd try a little harder to escape before my execution. I hesitated and said, Sister Yanyan, I need to go to the bathroom. Huo Qingyan immediately countered, You were so serious about going to your class. How do you suddenly have time to go to the bathroom? I thought, it's none of her business. Now I'm really trying to run. I immediately pleaded, Sister Yanyan, I know I made a mistake. She commanded, Since you know you made a mistake, run 20 laps around Dynasty. Then she asked, Ah Chen, do you have any objections today? I cried in my heart, 20 laps around Dynasty? It's twice the size of a normal track. How can this woman be so cruel? Can permanently damage a bad knee. It's just too much pressure. I think I won't be able to run for at least half a month. Surprisingly, Huo Qingyan didn't object. She simply said, Let's go home. I sighed with massive relief. Sister Yanyan, calm down quickly. Anger ages you faster. You wouldn't want your delicate rose-like skin to get wrinkles, would you? Huo Qingyan looked at me and asked, Are you trying to flatter me? Then she sharply asked, But why did you run away to the Dynasty in the first place? I thought, I really lost. How does this female demon have such a sharp memory? Why hasn't she forgotten about that detail yet? I answered softly, I just came to visit my friends. They were having a party here. Huo Qingyan reasoned to herself. Ah Chen lived with the Sigh family for 3 years and has been a helpless orphan since childhood. The first person he ever called mother was Madam Sigh, so it's completely natural for him to still have lingering feelings for her. She assumed Ah Chen must have seen Madam Sigh coming to Dynasty today. That's why he followed her here. After reaching that conclusion, she didn't interrogate me any further. Although I didn't understand why she suddenly fell so silent, I knew it was best for my survival not to ask questions. When we both walked outside, the driver quickly opened the car door. Huo Qingyan gestured for me to sit in the back seat. I got in, and just as she was about to follow, a surprised and overly joyous voice called out from behind. Madam Sigh exclaimed, How long has it been since I last saw you, Yanyan? When did you return to the country? As soon as I heard that fake voice, I knew it was Madam Sigh. Huo Qingyan paused and looked back. There was absolutely no expression on her delicate face. She didn't even offer a formal greeting. I thought to myself, you should have at least called her auntie, right? After all, she is older than you. Madam Sigh smiled awkwardly and said, Yanyan, now that you're back, when will our two families finally sit down to eat a meal together? She rambled on. Last week, your Uncle C and I went to visit your grandfather. Huo Qingyan replied coldly. Is that right? Madam C's fake smile couldn't last long under that icy stare. She quickly made up a flimsy excuse and scurried away. Huo Qingyan watched Madam C leave, snorted coldly once, and then got into the backseat of the car with me. After returning home, I received a notice about the university reopening, and the first day of the new semester finally arrived. Someone shook me awake in the morning and said, "Get up, school is starting." I mumbled sleepily, "Yes, I'm up." I hadn't even fully stepped out of the drop-off car when I noticed an extremely flashy, expensive sports car parked right at the school gates. The car was deliberately parked in a prominent, obnoxious position to attract everyone's attention. Gu Yanzhou stepped out, dressed head to toe in high-fashion designer clothes, and deliberately yelled loudly to Madam C, who was still sitting in the driver's seat, "Mom, I'm going to class." Madam C smiled warmly and replied, "Okay, hurry up, honey." Today was the university's annual promotion day, so almost all the students were gathered near the main gates. As a result, everyone witnessed this touching mother-son display of affection, and soon, voices praising his wealthy background echoed everywhere. Gu Yanzhou stood smiling arrogantly in the center of the crowd. He thought to himself, "This is the life I was meant to have. This feeling of being surrounded and admired by people is truly amazing. The more perfect the image I build at school, the more I'll benefit, and the more easily girls from wealthy, elite families will be attracted." Gu Yanzhou spotted me and thought smugly, "Look how poor and worthless he really is. If Zhengwan really liked Bai Chen, would she let him live so poorly that he had to take public transport to school? Doesn't he feel any shame?" He was gloating internally when he overheard the whispers of some girls standing nearby. The smug smile on Gu Yanzhou's lips instantly froze as he listened. One girl gushed, "Look, look, look! Bai Chen is so incredibly handsome." Another agreed, "Isn't he gorgeous? I think he's even more handsome than Gu Yanzhou." A third girl chimed in, "What's there to even compare? Of course! Before Bai Chen transferred here, I thought Gu Yanzhou was the most handsome guy on campus. But standing next to Bai Chen, Gu Yanzhou just doesn't look that impressive anymore." Gu Yanzhou unconsciously clenched his fists in rage. Then he looked at me and forced a fake, strained smile. "Good morning, Bai Chen." I didn't even spare him a glance. I just stood to the side, yawning continuously. I couldn't understand what had suddenly possessed the female demon at home. She woke me up at 6:30 in the morning, forced me to read world classics over breakfast, and lovingly told me it was to refresh my mind. Refresh my mind? That sounds like pure hypnotism to me. Just then, Zhou Ming walked up from behind. Looking at Gu Yanzhou, he mocked loudly. "Gu Yanzhou's face looks like it's going to burn to ashes. If you're jealous, just say it directly." He continued, "You act as if no one knows what happened a few days ago." His voice was so loud that half the people standing at the school gate clearly heard him. He announced to the crowd, "A few days ago, someone saw him at the Dynasty Clubhouse trying to cling to Madam C like a crazy leech. In the end, didn't he get kicked out?" I looked at Zhou Ming and warned, "Zhou Ming, drop it." Gu Yanzhou immediately lashed out. "You're so easily influenced by other people's gossip. Why do you always speak up for him?" Gu Yanzhou then sneered, "And Sigh, the eldest daughter of the C family, clearly likes you, but look at Bai Chen. That shameless beggar keeps pursuing Sigh for her money." As soon as he finished speaking, a huge uproar erupted among the students standing nearby. I calmly asked him, "Are you sure I'm the one after her?" He immediately yelled, "Absolutely sure. People saw it with their own eyes." I smiled and replied, "You saw it with your own eyes? Well, how nice. What a coincidence. I also have some things I've seen with my own eyes. I thought I'd share them with everyone today." I pulled out my phone and announced, "In this first screenshot, Gu Yanzhou is receiving a very expensive gift from Sigh, and his tone in the texts acts as if he's incredibly grateful and devoted to her." Then I swiped the screen. But in the second screenshot, Gu Yanzhou is chatting with a buddy, mocking Siyao's poor taste. He even says, "Once I find someone better and richer than her, who will even care about the Sigh family?" As soon as I finished speaking, the entire crowd fell dead silent for a few seconds. The next moment, absolute chaos broke out. Gu Yanzhou panicked, his face turning pale. "Bai Chen, where did you get those screenshots? You faked them." He tried to clarify to the whispering crowd, "How could I ever say such things?" I said calmly, "They aren't fake. Why don't you take out your own phone and show your chat history to everyone right now? Only then will we know the real truth. Oh, I looked at him mockingly and asked, what's the matter? Could it be that you don't dare take out your phone in front of everyone? Everyone's eyes fell intensely on Gu Yanzhou. For a moment, pure panic was evident in his eyes. Of course, he couldn't dare to take out his phone. Just then, someone in the crowd shouted, Yanzhou, is this true? Did you really say such horrible things about the eldest daughter of the Sigh family? Gu Yanzhou desperately stammered, I really didn't say anything like that. You guys have to trust me. Then he looked at me, playing the victim, and cried, Brother, I know you hate me, but why do you feel the need to defame me like this? I looked at him and smirked. What's the matter? Is there something else hidden on your phone?